be saying welcome to the 5-0 podcast. This year's favorite starting five, ready for another day of basketball and more, analysis of what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
You doing, boys?
Yeah,
Going on, bro?
we're doing good. We're doing good, brother.
All right, all right. Last 2 days, it feels like a lot's happened. Even though it's just the first two games of the season, a lot of news outside the court, a lot of, big things happening on the court. Yeah, we have a lot to dive into today. What are we starting with, Nick?
So like you said, we have a lot of news today. But obviously, we have to start with one. And today we are going to be starting with Ben Simmons.
Oh,
There's a lot of a lot of controversy around this guy right now. Ever since the playoffs last year, he didn't play his best. And it was evident during that finals, or not during the finals, but during the playoffs. And suddenly he requested a trade, and they're looking for a lot of Philadelphia was looking for a lot of trade options for him, and couldn't find the best one. They're looking for trades that weren't realistic.
hmm
Um,
mm,
and this summer didn't report to training camp. Uh, no preseason games, and they wanted to sue him. They wanted to fine him, not sue
hmm
him, fine him for all the practices he missed, training camp, all the preseason games, and 2 days before October 19, which is opening day for the NBA, he reported to Philly, and they never knew. And then he went to practice before the game, before season starts, and a lot went down. Um, what do I start with? Wasn't participating in practice. He was distracted, phone in his pocket. He wasn't taking it seriously, which caused Doc Rivers to kick him out of practice. And then the NBA suspended him for opening day with the Philadelphia 76ers.
NBA
Um,
suspended him or the Sixers suspended him?
Sixers,
since the
Sixers.
Sixers suspended him,
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, it makes sense.
my fault. The Sixers
Okay.
suspended Ben Simmons, and he didn't play in opening game for the 76ers. And do you guys have any thoughts on it? Tyreek, H2O, what's your thoughts on the Ben Simmons situation? You like it?
Yes,
Do you dislike it?
yes, yes. Um, I like the idea. Essentially, he is doing what James Harden did, but in a less, you know, um, direct way. Like of course he is missing practice, but he's not giving the finesse James Harden did. I see that we all know he wants to go. But the problem is that the Sixers paid way too much for him just to flip him off. Um, essentially, I like the rebel attitude. I just don't like the actual execution of what he's
The
trying
way
to
he
do.
executed it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
exactly. Like you don't need to be showing up to practice with your phone in your pocket. You don't need to be miserable. Like we're grown men here. We're not kids. You don't need to throw a fit in practice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's pretty much my take on it. How you feeling, John?
Um, to be honest, yeah, I don't really like the execution. Just like everyone has a job. Like everyone in the world has a job. Like we all have jobs, and we've all had a job, and basically we've all disliked our job at one point in our lives. And I think it's no excuse to not do your job, and that's Ben Simmons' job to just play ball for your team and just ball out. The fact that he's acting like this, I just like I don't agree with it just because it's like I get it. It's a business though. It's a business move. Like Philly's doing what's best for their team. They're not doing it for him. They're not doing it for the players. They're doing it to win a chip, right? And it's like Philly's been stuck in the same spot for a while now. So it makes sense for them to like explore options, see trades. But the way Ben Simmons reacted because he was gonna get there was like trade rumors about him being traded for James Harden and stuff like that kind of sparked it. And then like you already know Philly's fan base, they're very toxic, I would say, like in terms of just how they react to a lot of things. I feel like that affected him a lot in terms of just like he can't shoot, he's like nervous, especially after last year's playoffs. So yeah, I don't agree with how he's pursuing it, like how he's pursuing this idea, but I think like at the end of the day you should still play ball. Just show other teams what you're worth, you know, and then you'll get traded because obviously you're on the market, but like just show them what you're worth, you know. But
Exactly.
anyone else got thoughts?
No, like, I definitely agree with that. Like, at the end of the day, you're getting paid millions to do this, right? So even if you don't want to play, like, it's kind of your obligation. But at the end of the day, like, it's a players' league, right? Players control this league. It's not like the NFL where like a lot of players can just get cut from their job. These teams, these organizations, they need the players almost more than the players need the teams, right? Because their value as a player will always be there. So it's a weird situation because it seems like the stock on Ben Simmons is kind of low. Like it seems that a lot of people don't think he's worth what he once was. Like maybe 2 years ago, if the Sixers had put up Ben Simmons for trade, I think a lot of people would have been on the table and been wanting to offer a lot for him as well, right? So it's unfortunate, because I think a lot of people want to see the Sixers kind of roll it out and succeed after, getting the first seed last season. But yeah, just the way the execution of the whole thing, I don't necessarily agree with it. Yeah, it's a weird situation for sure.
It is definitely childish. Definitely childish. And H2O. I think you said that you like the way he's handling over how James Harden handled it. Is that what you said?
Oh no, I like the idea of what he's trying to do. I think James Harden definitely handled it a bit better than he did.
Absolutely, because James Harden was actually willing to go out there and play.
Yeah,
He actually played when he requested the
Mm-hmm.
trade, right? Ben Simmons, he's all in his feelings, okay? He's all in his feelings because Doc Rivers said that he doesn't know if he's a championship caliber point guard at the end. So he's all in his feelings, little sensitive Ben Simmons. He can't handle the Philly culture, the Philly fans. So he gets all in his feelings, goes all through the summer, and he's we've seen the same thing every summer. You're shooting, you're working on your game. Those Philly fans don't care about what they see in the summer. You got to put that onto the floor. You got to put that onto the floor. You haven't advanced your game in years. In years, you've done absolutely nothing to help your team. You've actually hurt them. And I think the realization was when he was under that basket, had an open dunk, and he
yeah,
passed it to Matisse Thybulle, who got fouled and missed one of two free throws against Atlanta. And
yeah.
it's sad to see a player like this, a grown man who's just in his feelings because of what his coach said. He can't get past it, and it's just a miscommunication between management and Ben, and he's not helping himself. He's not helping the organization by sitting out, and his values going down. And the Sixers want an all-star player for him. They're not going to trade him without getting an all-star caliber player back. So if you're sitting out, who's gonna give you an all-star for Ben Simmons right now? Seriously, for Ben Simmons, a guy who's sitting out because he doesn't get his way. It
Mm-hmm.
makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's sad. I know players. I think players deserve to have a lot of power, just like the teams, because teams are able to trade you in an instant, right? They don't have to talk to anybody, right? They can do that on their own. So I strongly believe in player empowerment, but this is just like
Too
like like what
much.
you guys said. It's too much. It's it's
Jump.
sad to see. It's sad to see. It's
Mm-hmm.
jaw dropping.
To,
Uh,
to add to your point, actually, it's funny because I remember Joel Embiid was talking about how they really tried to build the team around Ben Simmons too, which is a big reason why they didn't sign or go after Jimmy Butler very aggressively, right? So it's
Yep.
like didn't think that Jimmy Butler fit as well with Ben Simmons on this role. So it's like, had they kept Ben Simmons or Jimmy Butler, you know how close they were to taking us out, like the Raptors
mm-hmm.
back then. So it's unfortunate that like they invest the organization invested so much in him, right? And the way it's turned out, where it's like he hasn't progressed. and
Mm-hmm.
like he hasn't really invested with the team. So it's just unfortunate for sure. But I hope he's able to find an organization he fits in. I think he can have valuable numbers in a lot of different teams, right? But
Absolutely.
we'll see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. So
I actually agree with both of you guys. I just feel like Philly with that one year when we won the finals, Toronto Raptors won the finals. That one year, they Philly almost got the taste of the finals again. They
Yeah.
they were right there, Game 7. Kawhi hit the big shot. Unfortunately, I feel like and the year after was very disappointing because Ben Simmons didn't produce. He didn't do Ben Simmons numbers. He didn't improve. He just showed and showed again why he's not an elite point guard.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He can't shoot the ball, and it just shows year after year. And but I actually had a weird I seen this weird not conspiracy, but this weird thought, this food for thought, you could say. Someone said, I seen on social media, I forgot somewhere. Someone said, what if Ben Simmons is playing the wrong position?
Oh yeah, for sure,
Mm.
for sure.
What if he could play the four position? How tall is he? 6'9", 6'10",
Good.
and
Yeah,
six
he
ten.
he, he definitely can.
play the inside role, rather than
Yeah.
like more of like a Draymond Green. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More of like a facilitator. Obviously, he's a facilitator, but like
Yeah.
not not
You can still be a
not hundred
facilitator.
percent 100% have the ball in his hand, like a point
Hmm.
guard. You know what I'm trying to say?
Pick up
Hmm.
Jokic.
Yeah,
He's still a
what if
facilitator.
that's that's his game? And I
That's
just
I
wanted
true.
to
see that.
get your thoughts on that. Like, what if
I see
he
that.
more of a facilitator, like a Draymond, rather than a scorer we think he should be, which he's not.
I I think it's definitely possible, but like I don't think the position is the main reason what's wrong with him. He can it doesn't like the league is so positionless, like it doesn't even matter, right? Like he's strong at pushing the pace and facilitating. You don't have to shoot in this league to be good. There's a lot of players who have been very successful in the league without shooting the ball, but it's like Draymond Green is not afraid to shoot the ball. He'll shoot. You got to still respect him out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
When you're scared to shoot and you're scared to get fouled and you have no confidence in your abilities, that's when it's an issue. He just needs to I th- I think he needs to get out of Philly. It's too much pressure for him. He feels like
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
it's all on him and he said that to it was a great article written by Ramona Shelburne of ESPN. They were talking about him about how it's just the confidence. It's just the confidence in him and there was actually a story about him before. I think it was I don't remember the game like against the Hawks, but it was like game 5, game 6. Before the game, one of the team masseuses caught COVID, and he actually this is reported. I'm not making this up. You can read this about on ESPN. Ramona Shelburne, but he actually tried to get out of playing the game by saying he was in contact with that masseuse
Hmm.
that had COVID. That's how scared he was. He didn't want to play. He didn't want to play.
Mhm.
So that's just something that just shows it. It's not he's a
Yeah.
good player. He's a good player. It's just the confidence. You got to shoot
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
ball and you can't be scared when you get to the line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, but I get Nick's point. Like, with him on point guard, if you think about like he's bringing the ball up, and as soon as he even passed the half court, people are sagging on him right away, right? Already your team's at a disadvantage. So if he's at the four, he's already set, whether he's in the paint, back to the basket. And I think he could be a pretty successful like post player. You know how
Hmm.
Jokic kind of handles the ball in the post, can dish it out if he needs to, right? He
Hmm.
definitely has the IQ and like the strength to play that role, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a problem of people are sagging on him at the end of the day. Like no one's guarding up that shot, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so your team's at a disadvantage anytime you have a player like that. Giannis can't really shoot, but at the end of the day, people are guarding him because one night he might just pop off and like he did on that last game in the finals, right?
Hmm.
So you have to respect his shot, like you said. And no one respects Ben Simmons' shot. I think that's the most disrespected shot in the NBA for sure.
Mm,
That's just the point that we're at.
no,
Nah,
no, no.
I definitely see that. Like, I agree with. I think like both y'all are like right in terms of just what's wrong with Ben Simmons. Like those are the main flaws: his confidence and his shooting ability. Like the fact that you can't do one aspect of the game at all, and you're not confident in your ability to even drive to the basket or even score. Scoring is half of the game. You have to score and then you have to play defense majority of the time. And it's like if you don't even try on offense like that, and you're just like just facilitating, you're not a full player. You know what I mean? Like it's like saying you don't use your right hand in ball. Like you're half a
Mm,
player at the same time. It's like I just like I think Ben Simmons just needs to go to a team where he doesn't have the pressure of like they need to win a chip, you know? Because Philly needs to win a chip. They want to win a chip. They've been final
mm,
contenders since time,
Mhm.
but like they never made it there because there's so much pressure on Simmons and Embiid, Tobias, like all their whole starting lineup. They're like, yo, that team's gonna be sick.
mm,
But
Mhm.
like at the same time, they never made it there. So it's like I
Yeah.
think he just needs to go to a non-pressured team where he can build his skills, build his confidence up, and then you can move on to like you're gonna build your reputation, go to a nice team, start winning chips. Because he's still pretty young, so it's like
mm.
Mhm.
just build your confidence right now. Like you've been doing the same shit for the past how many years? Like how many years has he been in the league? I swear it's like
I
Or
think
He
it's
got drafted
26.
2016,
it was a
this is
while.
5th year.
but he was redshirted the first year, right? He didn't play that first year.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you've been playing for that long and you still like are so afraid to shoot and you shoot what 10 jumpers in like your whole season, all of the seasons combined.
Mhm.
Like bro, you got to develop that somehow, like at least get some pressure on that, you know.
No, no. Ben Simmons, he's for sure looking for the easy way out. For
Yeah,
sure. Like he doesn't. You know the Kobe, R.I.P. Kobe. But loyalty. No loyalty with him. He doesn't want to work hard. He doesn't want to stay with the team. Their team's good. It's not even their team's bad.
team's good.
Yeah.
Philly is good. Philly
Mhm.
could, if he played and he was serious and he actually developed his game, Philly's a top team in the East.
Yeah, for
Yeah, they
sure.
were number one last year.
They're competing with the Bucks. They're competing with the Nets. With a big man like Joel, like come on, like
MVP caliber like
exactly,
player. Like
like he needs to realize that. I don't think he realizes that. Like I feel like he's so he's so into himself and he just feels like he's the best player in the world when all of us know that he's not. He's not the
Yeah,
MVP caliber, the elite point guard that he thinks he is. He just wants the easy way out. Yeah, I feel like he just wants to team up with another superstar on another team that's not Joel because I feel like and even I read something somewhere where it said he doesn't feel like he's the main man on the team. The
Mhm.
Joel is
for
right.
sure.
They're all focused on Joel and they're trying to build around like but like why would they build around someone that doesn't develop their game for the past 3, 4, 5 years? Same
yeah,
thing over and over.
same shit.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's just disappointing to see realistically. But
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, to be honest, like this was actually it's surprising to see the way he's acting, but it is sort of consistent with who he is. Because if you guys recall when he was at LSU, the reason his GPA was so low is because he knew he was going to be a one and done. You know, he said something along the lines of, "Why try if he's going to be gone anyway, right? So why play if he's going to be gone?" You know what I mean?
Same
Um,
mindset.
Same mindset.
exactly. Like reverting back to what you said earlier, Nick, about him playing the wrong position. I really think he is. You know, as much as the NBA is positionless, like I assume, like before he was drafted, everybody assumed, probably even himself, assumed that he's going to play the power forward position, and just sort of, I wouldn't say forced, but just to have to adapt the point guard role so quickly, it can be frustrating. You know, there's a lot of big men who put the ball on the floor. A lot of big men who are floor facilitators nowadays, but I believe that he is probably more comfortable with a point guard taking the ball up more often than him. But it's a lot of factors that come into play because he is one thing, scared of contact. Um, he's not confident as he used to be, and it just seems like he just doesn't want to really play anymore. Not even just play for the team. It seems like he doesn't want to play anymore. He wants to give the ball up, let somebody else shoot. Things like that. It's all consistent in his game, and I think he's probably most definitely in the wrong position. But if he were to go back to the four spot, even the three, um, he would have to add some other skills to his game.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I still think he has a lot of upside though. Like on the right system, the right players around him, I think he can play
For
valuable
sure.
minutes. And like even like last episode, I literally said like I could see him as a defensive player of the year, right? Like
Yep.
he has that skill on the defensive side. He has IQ. He can take it to the rim at the end of the day. We just need to see a system around him that works for him and like players around him. And of course, as you guys mentioned, the passion and the confidence to just go out and know, ball. So
Yeah.
we see that at the end of the day, all like good luck to him and let's see what happens. But it's not gonna happen with Philly. Like him and Joel, I don't think from the beginning was the right mix, but they tried to make it work.
For sure.
He for sure ruined the relationship with Philadelphia, for
Yeah,
sure.
that's done.
That's
But
It's
yeah.
oh, continue, Phil.
Oh,
no,
You
yeah,
have
no, I
something?
agree. It's definitely over. He needs that new system. It's the pressure. He can't handle the pressure of Philly. So with that being said, if we're all done on that topic, we're gonna talk
can I make
about
a quick
now.
point?
Absolutely, absolutely. Go ahead.
Speaking of passion, I'm gonna do this every podcast. I'm gonna relate it to Kyle fucking Lowry because Philly could have had Kyle Lowry instead of Ben Simmons if they made that trade. They would have won a chip, no doubt in my fucking mind, because of his heart, his passion, and his will to win the game every single night. You know what I mean? Ben Simmons doesn't have that. They had
Amen.
Lowry and
Cat,
fucking Embiid on the
cat,
same team. I swear to God, they're gonna win the chip in one fucking hour because they would
Stop
be
the
up
cap.
by 20 every
1
game.
hour. Man said one
Stop the
hour.
cap.
he
Bro,
said
they could have.
he
Bro, they
said
could have
win
had.
the
Go ahead.
no. I was gonna say he won. They're gonna win the chip in 1 hour.
This guy
Yep,
said
the
one
game is
hour.
a two
One
hour game.
hour.
The whole
One
season will
hour,
just
bro.
be done in an
whole,
hour.
whole
Kyle
season.
Lowry fans, bro. Kyle
Whole,
Lowry fans. Come on.
He's
delusional
speaking
man.
one
facts though.
hour.
He's speaking facts. I absolutely agree, man. No, they could have had Ben Simmons and Lowry and Embiid,
Yep.
but I think Philly went wrong when they decided to give that money to Tobias Harris and not and Jimmy Butler, and they let Jimmy Butler walk. Jimmy Butler was the right teammate for Joel Embiid. He was perfect for Joel
Mm.
Embiid. He keeps his teammates accountable, man, and that's
Mhm.
I think it's good that Jimmy left because um,
Look at him now.
Look at the
yeah, look at him
franchise.
now, right? He's
He's
like
Look at the
with the GOAT.
franchise.
He's with
he
the
went to the
GOAT.
Yeah.
finals,
Kyle fucking Lowry.
and now
He's
he's
with
with
Kyle.
Kyle Lowry, so he's gonna win a chip this year. It's already confirmed. You know what I mean?
1 hour passed already. He won. They
He
won.
Uh,
won out. It's already. I
They
don't know
won.
if we're having a season. It's done. It's done.
Lowry signed a fucking
That's
contract
like
and he
crazy, man.
Anyways, if we are done on that topic, we are gonna talk about another controversial subject in the NBA. Another controversial player, Kyrie Irving, who we all know is
Hmm.
unvaccinated. He can't play. He's been cut off by the Nets. He's not allowed to participate in any practices, any games until he's fully vaxxed. I don't know if you guys seen the Adam Silver interview. He was on NBA Today, and he said he thinks Kyrie Irving should get vaccinated, not just for the league's sake, but for his health's sake. Um, so the Nets are gonna be without Kyrie until further notice. I'm gonna start with Josh. What do you think about the situation? Do you agree with Adam Silver? Do you think he should be vaccinated? What do you think are the next steps for the Nets?
First off, RIP to anyone who has him on fantasy. This guy could be out who knows how long, right? RIP to those people. But, it's a tough one. Like I respect, players having their own opinions and their own like ideologies that they want to follow. Um, but at the end of the day, for something like this, it can seem very selfish, right? Like at the end of the day, even though it's only early season, there's not really high stakes at this point. Um, you're an integral part to your team. You're literally the second or third best player on your team at any given night. Your team needs you, right? If and especially, it seems like this could be the year like the Brooklyn Nets take it or, could go to the finals. I think a lot of people think that. So there's a lot on his shoulders. So either he can, be selfish and continue on this path and, not get vaccinated. But in my opinion, it makes sense for him to, take it for the team. His team needs him at the end of the day. So that's kind of my point on it. It's a tough one though.
I can speak up here about it. My opinions, but I feel like he has a point. Obviously, I can see where he's coming from, right? It's a choice to get the vaccine, right? And with Adam Silver coming out and saying that, I feel like they're trying to force it upon people. Not even just him, but the government. It's not letting you go eat in restaurants or go to gyms. You need to be fully vaxxed, right? And I feel like the government is forcing the vaccine on us as to why Kyrie's such a how do you say he's different. He does what he wants, right? And I feel like that's what he's standing for. That it's a choice. We have freedom, right? It's not just because they said to get the vaccine, right? But with what the NBA is is allowing unvaccinated players to play at away games,
Yeah.
but not letting unvaccinated players play at home games
Yeah,
is
it
a
doesn't
whole
make
new
sense.
that whole yeah it's a whole new story. That doesn't make sense. If you're gonna allow Kyrie to play half the season at all the away games, why not let him play at home? Since other unvaccinated players like Bradley Beal are playing away, right? And it's just weird. Like that's if you're not gonna let unvaccinated players. I know. I feel like no. Yeah. I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. But what was I saying? Unvaccinated players
Playing
You're
away,
gonna let unvaccinated
NBA.
players play in
playing.
the game?
Yes,
Eh,
unvaccinated players playing away, but they can't play at home. This doesn't make sense.
yeah.
Doesn't make
I
sense.
agree
Yeah,
with that.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, again, this is another thing consistent with his personality, right? Like, I wouldn't say he's an activist, but he's definitely passionate about the things he represents. With of course his faith, of course. He was also passionate about his native people. You know, this is another thing he's passionate about, and it's not going away. He did have a live on his social, on his Instagram. Um, he's not leaving the league, but he's also not wavering on his opinion about the vaccine. Um, it's a very complicated and touchy subject to even talk about because there are many opinions on whether or not one should get the vaccine or not, and how the NBA should handle it. But when it comes to Kyrie, again, he made a valid point. Like he should have a choice, and it should be respected and understood, and he shouldn't be penalized for it. And yeah, it's not going away anytime soon. We're not going to see his opinion change anytime soon. So it's either he doesn't play or the NBA changes their rules about it.
Yeah. I definitely like agree with that. Like, it's just the thing is like you make sense. What Kyrie's doing, like it makes sense. The only reason it's such a big issue is because he's such a big part of the team. Like he's such an important player. Like think about all the other unvaccinated players. No one's making that much big of a deal from it because it's like it's a choice. But since it's Kyrie and his history of like how he acts, like he sits out a lot of games, like he for a lot of times for personal reasons or even like that thing where he was doing like I don't know what it is. I don't want to offend anyone, but like that miss stuff, like in beginning of games, as like a good luck thing. I don't know what it was called, but
Age.
Yeah.
stage, yeah, stage. So
Shut,
like
shut, 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 shut.
so like a lot of people a lot of people judge him like just because of how he is. Like it's a based off history and how important he is, you know? So like since Brooklyn is such a high contender team to win the chip, it's like obviously there's such a big toll on what he does, and him choosing not to be vaccinated is gonna put him on the map of like people are gonna disagree with him, people are gonna think he's weird and all that, but they don't say that about the other players because it's like at the end of the day they don't really care. They only care about Kyrie because it's like they want to see that team win, right? They want to see those three players play together: Kevin Durant, James Harden, and him.
Hmm.
For sure, for sure.
But yeah, it's like I agree with I agree with Kyrie's choices. I just don't agree with everything else he did, like in terms of just sitting out games a lot back then. But like everyone does have a choice. Like he even said himself on that Instagram live saying he respects people who are vaccinated. Like it's just personally he just wouldn't. Like if
For
you're a
sure.
believer of science, obviously you want to get vaccinated, but like he just it's just his beliefs, you know. So you can't really judge a guy on what he believes in. It's like judging someone on their religion. It doesn't make sense, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. It's hard. It's hard to, cause like Josh was saying, it's like two different sides of it, right? It's like personal opinion or like, betterment of the league or and your team and everyone else's safety. And I think the mandates weren't even it's not even because of the NBA he can't play. It's because the city of New York. It's their mandates that he is not allowed to play home games in New York. Um so like you guys were saying, it's I don't really like to speak on other man's opinions right like that. Like it's all up to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um So it's, if he wants to get vaxxed, that's up to him. If he doesn't want to, get vaxxed, then it only hurts his team. But he clearly he doesn't care of his career that much to put the those personal feelings aside and be like, okay, let me just get vaxxed so I can help my team and continue my career. He's just
Mm-hmm.
sticking to his stuff, which I can respect. He's not letting anybody tell him what to do, and that's a lot of people have indifferent feelings towards Kyrie, but I've always been a supporter of him because he does not care. He says what he wants, and he's definitely an activist, like H2O said, and I can definitely respect that.
Mm-hmm. He
Seen
and
someone on Twitter, they were like, LeBron is the only teammate that ever kept Kyrie in check. I mean, it's all personal preference, right? Like, but
The
No,
goat
I don't know.
man.
It just seems like drama follows him, right? Like Boston,
No.
Brooklyn, I don't know.
That is true.
no, but
a fraud.
for the Mickey. No, um,
Stream.
no, but even Tyreek mentioned his live also, but and during that live he said it's. I remember this one he said it's bigger than basketball. This is bigger than basketball, right?
Yeah.
It's our freedom. It's our choice to get vax and not to get vax, right? And
Mhm.
that's why he's like he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't care about basketball or doesn't care about the NBA, but he said it's bigger than basketball, right?
It
And
is.
I feel like that's just what he lives on and that's his belief. So you have to respect him for that, and you can't really tell another man to get vax so he plays basketball. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if that's all we have to say about that topic, we can move on to the exciting part, which is
Yeah.
gonna be the opening night.
Yes, sir.
Two big games, two amazing games to watch. So we'll just go over the first game, Bucks versus Nets. And Philip, I want to get your thoughts on the game. What did you think? And yeah,
Well, um, the Bucks beat the Nets obviously 127-104. Giannis had an
Yeah.
absolutely magical performance. He put up
monster.
32,
Hmm.
14 and 7, and Katie had a great game, 32 and 11. Um, the main takeaway from this game for me is definitely the Nets defense.
Yeah.
Um, they kind of dug themselves a very deep hole in that first quarter. They were down almost 20, and they just couldn't get a rebound. I think Giannis had like 8 rebounds in the first quarter. Um, guys look uninspired. Um, James Harden, his body language was something to me that stood out. He, not running back on defense, and there was something that really it's a pet peeve of mine. It's I don't like when players like if they pass it to like one of their teammates and he misses a shot and they just get all upset. You can see in their body language they flail their arms and they get all pissy.
Yeah, yeah.
James Harden did that a lot with Nick
Mm-hmm.
Claxton, the young kid Nick Claxton. He missed a
Mm-hmm.
lot of shots, but I hate when I see players get upset when their teammates miss a shot. I don't know why. It's just a big pet peeve of mine. Um, yeah, I think James Harden is definitely like he puts up good stats. Like it doesn't matter. Okay, the
Mm-hmm.
stats are stats, but if you watch the game without KD, they on the floor, they had no chance. And they were about to get blown out in that third quarter if KD didn't come in. I think he had 13 points in that third quarter. He
Hmm.
kept them in it single-handedly. And when he's off the court, they do not look good.
They don't
They
look
do
good.
not look good. Like James Harden, he he did really well at distributing for his teammates, but that's the only good thing I could say about his performance. Um, he hit a couple big time threes. We know he's gonna score. He's a gifted scorer. But
Hmm.
what I want to see from him is him exerting his energy on defense. And I know it's the first game. He's a superstar. He might not think it's that important. But on the other spectrum, look at Giannis. This guy goes flat out
Hard.
100% every single
Mm-hmm.
possession. Every single possession. That's why they won. He plays hard. And I think, and on the Buck side of things, I'm gonna say, um, they carried that championship uh, pedigree from last season into this first game. They looked
Exactly.
they looked really good, and I think last episode we didn't give them a lot of respect. I don't think anybody picked them to make it to the finals coming out of the East. Did somebody? Maybe?
I don't
This year,
recall. I don't
Yeah,
recall.
I don't
No.
think
I did.
I don't
I
think
said
I don't
Nets.
think
Yeah,
anyone did.
we
yeah, I
said
picked
Nets
the
in
Nets as
Miami,
well.
Nets in
But
Miami, and Tykes at Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, look,
Chicago.
bro,
Chicago.
the Bucks look like out of their league. Like the
Yeah.
Nets look like they didn't even belong in the same
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
conversation as the Bucks.
Right.
So I know it's the first game and they don't have Kyrie. We just talked about him, but they need their defense definitely needs help. And Patty
Mm-hmm.
Mills, I want to give a lot of respect to him.
Yeah.
He
Patty
like
Mills
seven
balled
to
Mm.
out.
seven from three.
Balled
Like
out.
Yeah.
he also kept them in that game in that first half
Mm-hmm.
For
and kept
sure.
it close. But yeah, the Bucks looked really good and I think they have a real chance of going back to back based on what I've seen. I know it's the first game, but they look really really good. Josh, what do
I
you
Yeah.
was
think?
actually I was literally gonna like shout out Patty Mills. Like I think he's really taking on that role. Like it looks like he's trying to fill in the gaps where Kyrie's not there. 21 points, you know. I like, you know, his play. Um yeah, Nets, I think they're the biggest hole in their game showed, which is their defense. You know, you bring in a team like Giannis and the Bucks, they have the championship pedigree, right? They're already looking like they're gonna go back to back just from that game. Giannis, he's still playing at the exact same level. Hasn't even taken a step slow. And I think they also have one thing that the Nets don't have, which is a lot of chemistry. One thing about the Nets is it's like it's been that players have kind of been coming in and out, right? Like they just picked up Blake, they just picked up James Harden, Kyrie was injured, then KD was injured. They don't have that, you know, that unified energy and that chemistry. Whereas the Bucks have been pretty much running the same team back for a very long time and like growing a lot of these players, right? Like obviously
Mm-hmm.
Middleton and Giannis have been on the team for so long. They've had Lopez for a while, George Hill for a while. Like it just seems like all these players understand their role on the team. They play well together, and I think that's what championships are built on, and teams going back to back. So definitely proved a lot of people wrong, and I think they definitely are probably the favorite as of right now to go to the finals.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Wow. Hot take right there, bro. Hot take right there. But yeah, that game was definitely eventful. Like I said, or like Philip said, Bucks came in same energy, same attitude as they did when they were in the finals. I believe there's a bit of an incentive there. It was their ring night. They're getting their rings
Ceremony
at
night.
night,
Yeah.
and you want to play good, especially when you're gonna get a ring right after. You know what I mean? Um, so there was a bit of incentive there. On the net side of things, I believe like the morale of the team is just awful. A lot of players are outraged, especially between the Kyrie thing and then you got James Harden, and it's just like Philip mentioned earlier. James Harden, his attitude towards other players making common mistakes, it was bad. Just the overall attitude of the team has to change. Um, and if you really look at it, the stats were it looked good on paper, but if you see the actual play of Harden himself, there's a lot of silly mistakes. Um, I believe like for the first games historically, like every player is really just shaking off the rust. I was he played like 72 games last year. Um, I believe his players are just coasting. They're used to a lighter load. And they probably took it easy this summer. Who knows? But I feel like they just got to play more and yeah, just get back to regular season, regular play. How going full steam ahead, correcting little mistakes here, and sort of getting back to how they're supposed to or potentially going to be.
Yeah.
I actually agree with all you guys. You guys touched on all the points that I was gonna make, and I just like to emphasize on the Bucks. Like you guys said, like the energy was there. They brought that over. They played the most games in the NBA. Them and
Phoenix.
the Phoenix. Yes, drew a blank there. Them and Phoenix, and they came out and they showed why they are the champions, why they won last year.
Mhm.
And behind Jan, that's the thing. No, that's the thing. I want to give credit to Milwaukee. They're all dogs. They all play hard. They don't care. The first game is the last game. They're playing. They're just gonna put 110% in every game they play, and it just showed. And with the Nets, Josh made a good point about chemistry. Uh, they don't have chemistry at all. Like you could just tell with their big men's Nick Claxton. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, with all their bigs coming in and out with DeAndre, with Blake's injured prone, and now with Nick Claxton in, it's hard for them to find that their role. None of them found their role yet. LaMarcus Aldridge came back. Now they have Paul Mills. It's hard for them to. Obviously, it's the beginning of the season, so they don't have their roles yet. But I feel like until like when playoffs strike, they're all gonna know what their role is, and they're all gonna play it, right?
for sure.
So hopefully, this is just the beginning, and they're gonna grow as a team. But as of right now, the Bucks are looking better than ever. And
Yeah.
I think John, your thoughts?
You guys basically summed up like majority of the points of the game. I do like want to give credit to just Milwaukee. Like they are all dogs. Like Drew Holiday did go out really early in the game due to an injury, I believe. But the fact that they lost one of their best two-way guards on their team and they still pulled through that win, I want to give credit to. I'll go individual in terms of Giannis and Kevin Durant. They proved that they are one of the best players in the league, and they proved their stance on how they could be the best player in the league. It could go either way. You could argue either way. That would tie into um, one of our next topics. I would say would be like just the best players in the league, because that does tie into the other game with LeBron. But I just want to give credit where it's due. I think it was an amazing game. It definitely showed that Milwaukee won the chip last year because they brought that mentality, they brought the heart, and they pulled through with the W even though Kevin Durant played a hell of a game. Like I would just say that you just gotta give credit where it's due.
And I just want to just give credit to Kevin Durant. I just want to shout Kevin Durant out one time. Just the way he scores the basketball
Effortless.
is effortless.
Easy.
It's so efficient. Just that one dribble, mid range pop, bro. You cannot stop a 7 foot guard. You cannot. You know what I mean? Like just the how he plays. It's so simple. Nothing
Yeah,
flashy dribble moves and all 7 dribble moves, step back 3 pointer. Yeah, I mean, he hits you with the maybe one cross, two cross, and pull up on in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I just yeah.
He's literally like top three best like scorers of all time. Literally,
Mhm.
no matter who you are, you got to put him in that conversation. Like he's dangerous no
Wow.
matter what.
Top three?
All time, yeah.
100%. I agree.
No, I
Who's
agree.
the only people
I
above him you could say is like MJ,
Yeah.
Kobe.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking MJ Kobe, and then I'm trying to think of like
You,
another.
you you guys sleep on Will Chamberlain, you know, like
Come
that
on,
guy,
bro.
Come on, come on.
that guy.
Uh, Plumbers, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's
Plum,
the thing.
Bro,
Like the whole point of
bro,
the
you,
plum,
you
plum,
can't discount
No, no, no,
discount
no,
the
no.
man's of the
All,
past,
re
you know.
all respect to Wilt for sure.
no,
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 no.
we
But
have to respect him for sure.
talking about a complete scoring like game, I don't know
yeah,
like who can do it better than KD besides like MJ. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
outside, inside, mid range, at the hoop, like yeah,
Hmm.
say KD's
effortless.
third at most, like highest.
Could be third, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, well,
he's
you
up there.
know,
He's probably second for me.
if
You put
if
Low,
him
I
over
to the
if
Kobe.
lowest ski feels.
I
Hot
think he's
take.
above Kobe.
I think he's.
I
I
don't
think.
know
if
about
I think.
Kobe.
I
I'm
think.
if
not taking him over
if
Kobe.
everybody's done with the disrespect to the OGs,
Yeah.
I love the
let's
OGs though.
let's move on to this Golden State and Lakers game, boys. First of all,
Mhm.
Nick, how
Mm.
you feel about that? What's your thoughts?
This back to back home games. Back to back open season games. It is It was amazing to see. We didn't think, like, we didn't know how the Lakers were gonna play
For
with
sure.
the addition of Westbrook and the multiple additions they have to their bench, and obviously shout out to AD and LeBron. They played amazing games, and the Lakers are looking really really good right now, right?
Still lost.
But
Okay.
but
Yeah,
Like,
but
kidding.
but with the Golden State, the Golden State played one hell of a game. Also, you have to give shout out to Steph and Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole played a hell of a game also, and I feel it's like what disappointed me was Westbrook. That that
Hurt.
Westbrook what
chill, 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 chill.
no way Westbrook he disappointed me with obviously some you're gonna have those games. You're not gonna hit every single shot, right? And I feel like it's just one of those games. Westbrook just had an off game. It's the first game of the season, and I just feel like the Lakers are looking good overall. The bench is looking good, and I just feel like they're just gonna grow. Westbrook's gonna grow into his
Sure.
role. He's gonna do what he does, and Golden State they don't have Clay yet, and they're already beating our predictions as one of the top teams in the West, right?
Hmm.
But they you just gotta give credit to Golden State, man. They played one hell of a game, and yeah.
No, definitely. Like you said, we didn't know a lot of things that were gonna happen with this Lakers, but we knew one thing. LeBron James, 34, 11 and 5, best player in the league. Let's go.
Let go, let go, let go, let go.
The GOAT
Bah,
is still the
bah,
GOAT. Year
bah.
19. Yeah.
Come on now,
All I hear is
come
the
on
GOAT.
now,
Come on. Year
bah. Come
19.
on now.
Year 19. Come on. 34, 11 and 5. Oh
Impressive.
my
He was
God.
impressive.
Like
Ballsy.
I don't know like when he's gonna start slowing down if ever. Like it's crazy. He played amazing. After all that that AD slander I heard last year, A Disney, all of that.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, 33, 11 and 2.
Mhm.
Um, he looks good. Obviously, whenever he jumps and I get a little scared.
Mhm.
As a Lakers fan, I get a little scared, but he played good. LeBron played good. Um, I think their issue right now is like pretty much their whole roster is new, right? I don't think there's a single player that was there last year. All these guys are pretty high IQ players. They're older, right? You have Rondo, Dwight Howard, Melo, like all these DeAndre Jordan. All these guys know how to play, and everyone kind of contributed to that game. But the chemistry is going to be something you have to watch out for the like this season. It's going to grow. And then, the Warriors, they played a hell of a game. Jordan Poole, like a lot of you said, is most improved player, like probably gonna take that, or he's gonna be in conversation for that for the whole year. And yeah, like everyone
Possibly,
played
yeah.
very well. Steph, first triple double, and I think they said since 2018 or something crazy like that. So yeah, credits to the Warriors, but I still got my Lakers. I don't care about the loss. GOAT's still the best, and I'll just leave it at that.
Lake Show, Lake Show.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to give credit to Golden State because I just want to say Curry didn't even play that good. Curry was 5 for 21. First of
And a
all,
bad game.
he had a bad game, but he still pulled off a triple double, which is respectable. But he had a bad game, and they still won. But uh,
Yo,
Yeah.
allow it.
I'm not Skip Bayless. I'm not like a Lakers hater. Like I picked them to win the chip. But Westbrook, I don't know. I don't think he's like that player to be on a championship team. But
Let's
like
go.
he huh?
Let's go.
Interesting. Interesting.
Westbrook. But he's
Chill. If you
he's
watch it,
not
if you
that
watch his
great in my opinion. But um, I gotta give credit to Warriors bench. They pulled through that game. They were carrying them almost the entire game. Like they played way better than their starting lineup. And I think, to be honest, the best player on their team or MVP on that team for that game was the Bjelica guy. Bjelica.
Bjelica.
Oh yes,
Alicia.
Yeah,
monster,
bro. When I was
monster.
watching him, bro,
Angelica.
he was going crazy. He was going crazy. I didn't even know who this guy was, but he was like a
Nice.
Jokic 2.0 on that court, bro. He was going crazy. He was dribbling up the ball from the 3 point line all the way to the paint, like, and he's a big guy. So I gotta give credit to where it's due. And like, even though since Curry didn't pull his weight like throughout the beginning of the first the first half of the game, he their bench went crazy afterwards.
Yeah.
But I respect LeBron. LeBron went crazy. LeBron and AD went crazy. Like LeBron was he was I think 7 for 7 at one point. He his first 7 shots all in. Like he was going
Same.
crazy at
Six.
the 3 point
Six.
line, pulling up. He was
Yeah.
going crazy. But
Oh, yeah. No, I also I forgot to talk about Westbrook. Just
Westbrook.
want to add in, to me it doesn't seem like anything. Like a lot of people are, making it a big deal on the internet. I think it's just one of those that, it's a new system. You have to get used to the fact that like you're around like another guy with a very high IQ and you have to play a lot of off ball, which I think is going to be difficult for Westbrook. But even like LeBron said, go home, watch a comedy. He told Westbrook to do that. So I think it's all gonna work out. Just watch the chemistry, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'll pass it to
I
you though,
also like
Phil.
to
I want
say,
to hear your what?
oh, I just want to defend myself on. I do think Westbrook is gonna find the system. It's just first game. Like
Let's go.
he's not gonna be asked the entire game or the season. He's gonna be good. Like Lakers are gonna be good either way. But I'm just making fun of them because fucking Westbrook sucks and
Can,
LeBron's
can,
team's
can,
not.
can I make a
Come
point
on, come
before
on.
Philip? Can I
Come on,
make a
come on.
point before Philip goes?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
my
just
boy.
wanna mention, LeBron had 5 3 pointers. I don't want to hear no LeBron slander that he cannot shoot. All right, LeBron hit 5 3 pointers.
He looks
He's
at
a
the ball.
shooter now. You know what I
He's
mean?
he's
I
he's a
want to
better
hear.
shooter than Curry.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
I don't want to
Whoa!
hear no slander. All right.
Whoa!
Come on now. Let's not get ahead of
Whoa!
I'm
ourselves
capping. I'm
now.
capping. I'm
Whoa!
capping.
Let's not
I'm
get ahead
capping.
of
Yeah,
ourselves.
Allow it.
bro.
Allow it.
Let's
Allow
not
it.
get
Come on.
canceled over here
Allow
already,
it.
boys.
Come on.
Second episode, bro.
Couple
Come
dislikes right
on,
there.
come on.
This
Allow
Right.
it.
Whoa!
No, no, no. He played good though.
Yeah. Well, story of the game was definitely the Warrior. I'm gonna talk about the Warriors first because they did not look good in that first half. Um, they were doubling Steph a lot off the pick and roll, and Steph had a hard time making those decisions. And he shot very poorly. He was forcing up shots. He had a bad game, a bad shooting night. But in that second half, um, when he got doubled, he started making better decisions, and he ended up with 10 assists. So whatever Steve Kerr told him at halftime, it absolutely worked because they came out and they looked completely different than they did in that first half. So credit to Steve Kerr and what they did during halftime, the adjustments. But yeah, I want to talk about. You don't know who Bialicha was, John? You casual, bro?
Casual.
Come on now. Nemanja?
He never played NBA
Nemanja?
in my league. He never played
I
NBA
want
in my
Kyle
league,
Lowry.
Jamal.
Never
I didn't
played
know.
my league, eh?
Yeah, he never picked him up.
Traded
Never.
for him. No,
I
he
didn't
Alicia
know.
looked good. He honestly, he when Draymond got off the court, he played Draymond's role. He made great decisions. We all know he's a great shooter.
Mhm,
Um, but his passing was really impressive. I didn't know he had that in him, to be honest.
mhm,
So he really helped them. Him and Jordan Poole, obviously the bench was a big reason why they won.
mhm,
Um, credit to Steph, like I said, for staying with it, and he hit that one big three when Melo kind of he sagged back, and then I was just Melo down the stretch was a liability on defense. So Frank Vogel's got to figure something out because I don't know if Carmelo can stay in the game that late because he is a liability throughout that whole game. He was making mistakes. We all know the Lakers are up there in age, so it is
mhm,
a bit of a concern. But the Lakers defense was something that was concerning to me coming into the season. But guys like I think Kent Bazemore really impressed me. He was a really
mhm,
good on-ball defender. He played well on
Yeah,
Steph.
he's good.
Avery Bradley, they just picked him up. He came in for a few minutes and he disrupted Steph as well. And we all know when LeBron wants to play defense, he can play. And AD has always had that ability. So their defense actually looked really good, and especially in that first quarter, they looked really good.
Yeah.
Um, but now the Lakers side of things, a LeBron, an absolute masterclass. He looked absolutely phenomenal. The
Bro,
LeBron fans can absolutely soak this one in because he was the
he
reason
looked
why they
amazing.
were in this
Amazing.
game. AD was great, but when LeBron got off the court, the Lakers looked absolutely lost, and he is the reason why they were able to stay in this game. The Warriors could have blew them out, but um, LeBron played really, really well. He impacted the game in all facets. In 19th year, it's
19.
absolutely amazing.
I don't
Um,
think we've ever seen this, something like that, and I don't think we will, to be honest.
no, it'll
I
be a
think he's
very
like a
long
one
time,
of a kind type of player, to be honest. He's a one of a kind.
definitely.
Generational for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing about Russell Westbrook, you guys saying it's not concerning, but I'm actually gonna go on the other side of it, um, because I don't know how he fits in with their offense. I really
It's
don't.
weird.
Even
It looks weird.
the off-ball thing, I don't. What's he gonna do? He
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 can't
can't.
shoot.
He can't. He's not a consistent shooter. We all know he could hit them from time to time, but he is not a consistent shooter. And there were people saying that maybe he should run with the second unit, which is something interesting because when you got him and LeBron, that's two ball dominant guys. And when Westbrook had the ball, the Lakers they didn't really do much. When LeBron had the ball, the Lakers got something out of it most of the time.
Mhm,
So when you have, I think you should split the minutes. I think you should split their minutes. Like, okay, you could start Westbrook, but take him out for like, at the 8 minute mark in the first quarter, let LeBron run it, take LeBron out, put Westbrook in. But then again, the other point guard you got is Rajon Rondo, who can't shoot. They need more shooting. That's the thing about the Lakers. They need shooting. I still think they could win with this roster, but they gotta find a way to fit Westbrook in because right now I don't see where he fits in with the offense.
mhm.
Like just that
Yeah,
twilight
Yeah,
zone.
for sure.
that was an interesting point, though. I kind of see that. Like, at the same time, I disagree because I think the team has shooters. Like, I think they have a lot of 3-and-D guys, like, Avery Bradley. Um, I don't know if
Kent
Kendrick
Bazemore.
Nunn play. I don't think Kendrick Nunn played,
He didn't
but
play, and
he's a
Trevor Ariza as well. Trevor Ariza
yeah.
also didn't
So
play.
those are a bunch of guys, Wayne Ellington, right? Like guys who can just shoot the ball, right?
Mhm.
I think they're there for spacing, and I think it was planned accordingly. Like, hey, LeBron's not like the best shooter. Westbrook's not really a consistent shooter, right? So let's have these guys around them to, space the floor, pass out when we need to. But yeah, I think from Westbrook, I don't think he's going to be the same, 27, 10 and 10, player. And I don't think they want him to be that either, right? I think he's
Mhm.
going to literally just come fit a role because we all know he has high IQ, right? Like he's a guy who can get assists, even though people say he's a stat pattern, right? Whatever.
Mhm,
Realistically, he has a good IQ and he can, I think he'll have to learn a little bit how to play off ball, but
mhm,
I think he can help make winning plays, and he'll just continue to learn and play well with a guy like LeBron, who also shares like a very high IQ, right?
Mhm.
I hope so.
I just have a hard time knowing what that role is. I don't
Mm,
To play off ball, you kind of need to be able to space the floor, right? Because
yeah.
LeBron and AD, it's gonna get clogged in there. When LeBron has the ball at the top and you got Westbrook in the corner, Wiggins is gonna help off. He's gonna clog the lane. You leave Westbrook in the corner, and we've seen he was 4 of 13. He's he's gotta. I think it's too late to develop the shot. Like, come on, we know he's not a good shooter. We know he's not a good shooter. So, it's gonna be very interesting to see how the Lakers, fit him in. It's gonna be very interesting because, that first game he looked rough out there. But I still think he could be impactful. But the thing is, where could he be impactful? We all know he has the hustle and the drive. Like that's always gonna make winning plays, right? A guy like him is gonna always make winning plays. So, um, I'm interested to see what role he's gonna have.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Say two. That game was definitely interesting. I believe that the Warriors are actually very surprising. They're making a star out of Jordan Poole. I feel, and they definitely showed that the Lakers are mortal. Like everybody thought the Lakers were, this they're old, yes, but like a whole lot of superstars. Impenetrable team on defense and anything like that. And the Warriors genuinely picked them apart. Um, Starting off with the Lakers, essentially, LeBron. I think we're starting to see Miami LeBron again. He has a strap. I
It's the
think
number
LeBron
six.
always had a strap, but he's taking it easy on us for a couple of years. But now he's really gonna start shooting again. Um, and his playmaking skills, floor general. We all know who LeBron is. LeBron's gonna be LeBron at the end of the day. I'm just shocked because if we are talking about fantasy, he wasn't even top 10. He's probably a top
Mm,
three player right now. You know what I mean? Top three,
he's the
top
best.
four. You know,
I feel
um,
Philip's so happy right now.
yeah, he
Come
is.
on,
He
bro. I was
is.
very happy with Bron, man. I was very happy with Bron.
Uh, it's he LeBron is. I feel like people thought because of his age and a bit skinnier and whatnot, he was gonna settle down. But no, I feel like we're no longer gonna see explosive LeBron. We're still gonna see some crazy plays because it's LeBron in the paint, but um, I feel like he's gonna slow the game down. He's gonna go with the mid-range trades, and he's gonna post up. He's gonna take the three more often. He's gonna look for a shot more often other than making the drive. Um, AD, of course, exceptional, very, very good play. Again, it's always scary to see him go up. Those legs look like they're gonna give out any moment. But um, it's
For real,
he's,
bro. For
he's
real.
he's one thing I will say that he was a lot more careful with the shots he chose to take. He's not going in wildly. He's not flaring the limbs and everything. So when he lands, it's not too hard. Um, and it's Lakers. They played really good. It was a really good game for them. It's just the Warriors, man. The Warriors. I'm very, very proud of the Warriors. Oh, sorry, not before you get into that. Westbrook. Um, I'm sort of torn between being concerned and not being concerned because I know, um, in the NBA, unless you're Ben Simmons, you could pretty much shoot. Um, you're gonna make shots. I'm not mad at him missing. I encourage him to keep taking them. The more he takes, the more he's gonna make essentially. Um, One thing I am sort of concerned about is what he does when he's not making shots. When and in the other team when he wasn't making the shot, he'd get the assist, he'd get the rebounds. He'd go for the steals. Like he'd really vamp it up on defense and the playmaking. And he doesn't have a chance to do it here. You can't jump with Dwight and AD. You can't run the floor with LeBron with you. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's gonna have to adapt to being a spot up shooter. To be honest, you know. So I'm not concerned with the shots, but I am concerned with everything else around surrounding his play style.
Yeah.
But yeah, Golden State. Um, Very, very great team. I will say in John's defense, I was wondering like whose dad is feeding all these guys,
None of them
like
Achilles,
like
bro.
like I'm wondering like who is this guy? There I can't read the name on the back of his jersey. I don't know how to pronounce that. He looks out of shape, but he's beating these guys off the dribble.
Doing great.
He's making plays like
Look
it's
good.
crazy. He surprised me. He really did surprise me. Um, I feel like the Warriors are because they had such a past where you had KD, Steph, Green, Clay, all on one team, and you had such an iconic team. It's a bit foreign to see these guys really putting in work. You expect Steph to be that guy every night. You expect Green to get his stats every night, but you don't expect the other guys like Poole and Joe Ingles 2.0 to go off like that. Um, it's nuts.
Yes.
I'm very proud of Curry. You know, he did. One thing I will say is that the Lakers knew it's proven in the past. They any team with LeBron really, but the Lakers especially, they know how to guard Steph. I was sort of expecting him to have a bad field goal percentage that night because he just clamped up on the high pick and roll. They know how to guard that. Um, I'm proud of him because he didn't just, well, he did take a lot of shots, but he sort of fell back from that in the second half and he chose to make plays. And of course, even on a not so good night for Steph, you got a triple double. I feel like that says something. Um, Green, he did what he's supposed to do. I think he could have done more, but with Steph not making his shots and Steph having to be the floor general, I feel like Green allowed Steph to take the reins. Um, so like, he always does his part. One thing I will say about Draymond is that he will always do his part. You know, Poole, like I said, superstar in the making. The Warriors are making him look really, really good. A player that on any other team wouldn't be utilized in the way he is being utilized. He's making a name for himself. Andrew Wiggins, can't say much about him. He didn't really do much.
Hit a big
He,
three. Hit a big three.
like other than that, that's about it.
Mhm.
Um, it just like I said, the Warriors did surprise me as a whole. Very good win for them, well deserved. Um, both teams deserved it, probably equally. But like I said, more so by the Warriors because they are essentially underdogs, or I think they are underdogs this season right now. They're missing key players, and we have people who aren't as big as the stars in the league putting up the same numbers as them. So, very good game. Very, very good game. I'm excited to see what both these teams do, how they do out throughout the season.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so,
No,
oh, no,
go ahead.
yep.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, I think to talk about Draymond as well. Again, that's all you ask for Draymond, right? Like the stats are not gonna pop out some nights, but his main role is to be there and play defense, and he looked really good, especially in that second half. He's that anchor for that team, and again,
Yeah.
the Warriors were a team we didn't mention as a title contender last episode, and hey, this is without Clay. This is without Clay, and the big thing with the Warriors last year, and James Wiseman.
Yep.
The big thing with the Warriors last year was their depth, right? They didn't have the depth to make a real run last year. But now Poole is a lot better. Biolicho is a great pickup as we've seen. Um, and Clay, if Clay comes back at like somewhat of himself, if he can still be that shooter, I mean that's two big injuries to come back of. But if he comes back a little bit like himself, the Warriors could be very very um, special, and I could see them heading to the conference finals and even the finals if everything goes to plan.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
And Iguodala played great too.
Iguodala played nice. He
Yeah.
hit he hit very good threes. If he
Yeah.
was wide open, he was making the shot.
The
That's right,
Warriors jersey does something different to him, man.
Max,
for sure,
Max,
for
Max was right.
Brought him back.
sure.
Fatal
You watch
Universe.
Iguodala. You want Iguodala in the clutch
He,
for sure, for sure.
Yo,
So
Max, please come
wait.
join the podcast. We have room for a six man, you know?
Yeah,
No, but
bro. No big time.
question for you guys. Just to touch on like it correlates with what Philip said. If Golden State can play like this without Clay and James
Yeah.
Wiseman, imagine they both come back. Do you guys think they
Yes.
will be title contenders in the West.
Yeah.
They're
Right
definitely
now.
second round for sure. Anything beyond that, I can't say because like the West is pretty stacked, guys. You know,
Yeah,
There's like
can the Warriors win 4 games against the Lakers realistically? Probably not. You know,
But you did it when the Warriors
so
won last time. This is the same team.
who knows,
This is the
man?
same
Who
Curry,
knows?
Draymond, Iggy, Clay, and Steph. That's the same
yeah.
starting lineup from when they won last time.
But
They're
they're
like
all,
When
6
they
years
yeah,
older.
beat when they
6
yeah,
years older.
beat the Cavs without Kyrie
without
and
Kyrie and yeah,
Kevin Love.
Glove. Yeah,
Let's
I
just
remember
keep
that.
that there though.
Okay,
Yeah,
but at
I
the end of the
remember.
day,
But on a
I think they
side
still
note
would have.
though,
I think they still would have. I think they still would have.
yeah.
But
At the
yeah,
end of the day, though, it's like you can't count out injuries. Like in terms of like Lakers could get injured at any time,
Yeah.
and
for
like
sure.
there's a lot of injuries that could
right.
happen. And with their team, if they're healthy, yo, I think they're a strong team. Like genuinely, I think they're a very strong team, just
They're a
because of like
strong
how.
team, but the problem is like as Nick said in the West, like are they a contender in the West? I don't know. I see them like a fifth seed somewhere around that mark, and then like Tyke said, like they could definitely go second round, right? Maybe in the East they could definitely go farther, but and like on a healthy note too, right? But I think one thing even though they lack the star power, they have the chemistry from years, right? Like especially their big
Mhm.
three and a lot of their role players with Iguodala. But no, we're talking about the West, right? Like there's some hitters on the West. We have the Lakers, Clippers when Kawhi comes back, right? You have Utah, um,
Yeah.
Nuggets. Like but there's a lot of what ifs. Like a lot of players are injured right now. That could be the
Mhm.
deciding factor of how far the Warriors go.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
and to touch upon that a little bit, and even if they make playoffs and they're lower tier, they're facing the top tier. Like let's say they're sixth, they're facing
Could be
third.
Phoenix. Could be Phoenix.
Is it
Could be.
third, fifth,
If they're fit,
Huh.
they're in fourth
Yeah,
seed.
fourth? If
it
they're
would be.
sixth, they're facing third, right? So they're facing the top teams, which potentially could be the Lakers, could be the Phoenix, could be Utah,
First,
which is going to be a difficult first round for them. That's why Tyke said they could maybe if they bring back the 2016 Steph and the Golden State Warriors, then maybe they have a chance of making it maybe to the conference finals. But even then, like
a
it's
lot of
hard to
it
say.
is, yeah, a lot of it is on Clay though, because we haven't seen him play ball in 2 years. So if he comes back and he's, 20 points per game, three threes, four threes a game, like, how we know him, right? Almost 50, 40, 90. If we
Mm-hmm.
see that Clay, who knows, right? Because that
Mm-hmm.
Clay who could just out of
Game
nowhere
changer.
just up 50, 60 points like with like seven dribbles, like shit like that. And you
Yeah,
never know, right? Like, but
yeah,
we haven't seen this guy play in 2 years. For sure, there's gonna be some rust. So it's a lot on him as a secondary player on the team, and and definitely on the development of Wiseman.
yeah.
And he's
I
a
thought.
and he's a defensive guard also. He's a
Mhm.
Yeah.
3 and D guy, right? So we can't
Oh
leave
yeah,
that out about Clay. He's guarding your best player on the court, right?
100%.
For
And
sure.
that's what's scary about Clay. He can turn. He's a microwave. Hits one,
Hmm.
two threes, fire. He's on fire for the rest of the
On.
game, right?
Yep.
But
Yep.
sorry to cut you off, Philip. You had something to say?
No worries. Um, I think definitely if all things go right, I think I can see the Warriors in the conference finals if they get like a right path because the thing they have over everybody is chemistry, right?
Hmm.
They've been together the most, and they're behind Popovich. I think Kerr is probably the next best coach in the league,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Wow.
coaching, a lot of people, want to discount coaching, but those one big thing about the playoffs are adjustments. How
Mm-hmm.
do you adjust to what the other team is doing? And having a coach like that who's like, look what Nick Nurse did when the Raptors won the championship, box and one. Every game you see, like Steph, like, and that changed the series. Like that arguably was the reason why we won, that box and one style of defense. So I think coaching and adjustments are super important in the playoffs, and um, I see them in that top tier. Like the Lakers, if the Lakers are healthy, I don't see anybody beating the Lakers at all in the Western Conference. But I think they could. I think they're below the Suns. Like they're with the Jazz. I think they're on the same level as the Jazz, the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
but the Suns and the Lakers, I think those are the two teams still. I think they're more with the Jazz and the Clippers and the Nuggets and stuff like that. But if they get
Mhm.
a good path and they get hot and Clay's, himself and Wiseman has a good year, um, I mean the chemistry of the Warriors is undeniable, and to add Clay Thompson to that, um, is huge. And look what the Warriors did last year. The, without any depth, like their bench was awful. Draymond and Steph's chemistry single-handedly put them into a play-in position. Like there were games where every possession, you seen Draymond and Steph those screens, and they
Hmm.
single-handedly put them on runs and ended the game like that. So to add Clay to that, like we haven't seen them play in a while, but
Mhm.
I'm still confident the Warriors can get back to how they looked before.
Exactly.
They're not taking out a healthy Clippers though. I don't think so.
The Clippers,
I think they are.
No,
that's
I
tough,
think
man.
they,
I
I think it's
healthy
very
Clippers.
possible.
I
Healthy
don't know.
Clippers.
I think it's very possible. Very
I don't
possible.
know.
But I no,
I,
but like,
I, I,
I could see a Utah upset. I could see that.
I can see
Yeah.
it.
oh,
And
I
the
cannot.
Clippers,
I
Hey,
cannot, bro.
I
you
don't
don't
know.
see
Like
you don't see the Warriors beating the Jazz at all?
Utah is, of course, on the day we're recording this, we seen them play today. Um,
yeah,
Utah is looking exceptionally,
They look good, man.
100%.
exceptionally well.
Oh, they're a
They
good
Yeah.
team.
you see, you got Rudy Gobert. Well, you can't go wrong with him. 21 boards. 21 boards, guys. That's nuts. Um, Defensive presence is crazy.
Mhm.
Mitchell, he's still cooking. I feel like he's still loading. You know, all star potential still pending, but um, with their pieces, you got Jordan Clarkson. You have Joe Ingles coming off the bench. Every man like down to second string. He could really just take control of second string. Um, it's, they're looking well. I can't. Point is, I can't see Warriors beating Jazz if they're both healthy. You can't.
We didn't weren't the Jazz the first round exit last year though?
Listen. That was an upset. That was an upset. Let's be real. And plus, they were facing a team with the MVP and uh monster of Jamal Murray playing. So again, it's just all about the situation. If the Warriors end up facing the Jazz or you know any team of that caliber, I don't see it happening.
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank. Who eliminated the Jazz
Utah
last
got
year?
eliminated by Clippers.
The Clippers, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was Clippers. Come
Well,
on,
I'm
what
not
are
They
you
they
sure.
talking
they,
about?
they got
I'm
You
thinking
eliminated
about the
second
bubble.
round.
I'm thinking
They
about
got
the
okay?
bubble. I'm
eliminated.
thinking about the
Yeah,
bubble.
that's what I was thinking.
That
Utah.
was a good
Okay,
Utah.
series.
still.
Yeah, that was a
That was,
U-
Utah.
that was a
Utah
great series.
beat Memphis 4-1, and then they went to the conference finals and they lost to Clippers 4-2.
Okay, okay.
Paul George had a
Makes
great
sense.
series. Yeah.
Okay, 4-4-2 though. 4-2 against
4-2.
Clippers.
No,
You
Paul
got you
George
you
balled
got
out.
you got you got two all stars.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Like
no. I think I could take Warriors over Utah. A
I think
I
it's
could
sure.
see
healthy,
it. I could see
I
it.
could see it. A
Yeah,
healthy
yeah.
Warriors
Listen,
team is dirty.
That's what I'm saying.
You
let's
can't
think
not
about
give if
yeah
no. We're saying if healthy. You know what I mean? We
yeah.
don't know if Clay's gonna
I
come
need
back. Clay.
documentation here.
Mhm.
I need documentation because Nick said last episode Toronto's gonna have a better season than Chicago, and now you saying Warriors over Utah.
Warriors,
I
we're
want
gonna
this
write all of these
I'll,
down.
documented.
I'll put that
I
bitch
want
on
this
writing.
documented.
We're
You
writing all
know.
this shit down, and then we're gonna have Donkey of the Day when that time comes. Okay?
Okay,
All
okay,
right,
bro.
all
That's
right.
copyrighted,
I'm
bro.
there for it.
Just
I'm there
keep
for it.
receipts,
No,
okay?
no,
Anyone watching,
I'm
keep
there for
receipts,
it.
and we'll all keep ours
no,
as
cause
well.
cause 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 Clay and Steph together, the best duo like ever.
Exactly.
One
People
of.
forget. I think we're
No,
forgetting.
You
no,
You
you
can't
stop,
you
guys.
can't
you
forget
Stop.
how good Clay is, bro. Clay is a different
Clay is
level.
amazing. He's amazing.
You're not
He's
best
amazing.
duo ever. Come on.
they're one of.
No, but they're one of the
One of.
best
Best
to
shooting duos
Backcourt.
ever.
I
Yeah.
I I,
backcourt.
on,
Backcourt, yeah.
I honestly think though, like if the Warriors were to ever go to the playoffs, it's not a game of like defense. It's more about who could score more. You know, because the defense on the Warriors is it's exceptional for sure, but it's not enough to hold a team to less than 100. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be a matter of who can
Yeah.
make their shots and who could actually fulfill the
Who's hot,
possessions
who's
each
not,
time down the lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely determined on like their defense.
Yeah.
Cause like, bro, I don't want to go back to Raptors, but when Clay played for those few minutes against us on our championship team, he was
Every man
cooking
got
us.
worried.
He was
Every
cooking
man
us,
He's
here
cooking.
got
He's
and
cooking.
worried.
we got shook. We're like, bro, we're gonna lose this game if Clay plays the whole game. Like I thought we were gonna lose the series if Clay played the whole series. I swear to God, we would have lost. I'll put on, and I'm a Raptors fan.
If Katie and Clay were healthy, we lost in 4 games.
For sure, for sure, for sure,
Chill,
for
chill,
sure.
chill, chill,
What
chill.
year four? What
That
year
that
four?
that that that's why the fans were cheering when Katie got injured because they knew he won
they,
after that.
they
Not real
knew.
They,
fans,
they,
those all the
they,
rich
they,
people who
they,
don't know
they weren't
ball, bro.
cheering about the injury. They're saying, "Yeah, we got it. We got the ring."
Yeah,
Like
we got the
like,
chip,
for sure,
Those
for
aren't the
sure.
real
But
Raptors fans, bro. Come on,
We,
bro.
if Katie was playing, we'd win. Like we'd still crush him. Because
I don't
why would
know.
we do that?
Katie
uh,
was cooking us that few minutes he was playing.
donkey of the day,
He was cooking.
He was
Cannon was
cooking.
He's still-
he was
Hold,
cooking.
bro. When I
KD.
seen that when he first came on the court and he started playing, I'm like, no way, cooking us. I'm like, yeah, we lost. First 2 minutes, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
we lost. Came down the
That was
court,
scary, man.
boom. I'm like, yeah, we lost. We
That was a
lost.
scary
Like
moment, man.
we got lucky, but at the end of the day, in 10 years, we're not gonna tell our kids like, yo, KD was injured. This we'll be like, yo, Raps and six. We're not gonna tell them to be.
Exactly.
Injuries are
At the
part
end
of
of
the
the
game,
day,
man. They're part of the
That
game.
injuries are. That's the only reason Warriors won in 20. In my opinion, 2016. I think if Kyrie and Love played, they would have lost.
uh,
Like I think
they would have
Cleveland
won.
for sure would
You
15,
know
have.
15.
why they would have won?
Oh,
Because they
15
beat
wins.
them the next year when Steph was better and they went 73-9. But you're saying
Yeah,
that they wouldn't have beat them the year prior when they weren't as good technically?
yeah.
Come on,
I think so. Yeah, I think they would have won for sure. But like injuries is part of the game. It's like you can't
part of the
complain.
game.
Mhm.
I,
Yeah,
I won't take that away from them. They played like amazing basketball, but
yeah. That's the thing though. Like with going back to Clay, it's like he's a game changer. He's a game changer. If Curry's not heating up, Clay's heating up, and they always got each other's backs. Like at the end of the day, you always have to worry about the threes. Always. You
I'm
always have to
I'm I'm
stay up.
really interested to see what they do with Poole once Clay comes back because we know Clay coming off ACL injury, you're going to be on a pretty nice minute restriction, but I want to see how Poole plays, after
Yeah,
Clay comes back.
probably gonna come
and
off the
I
bench.
don't know what they're probably gonna have to shift Wiggins maybe to the bench. Maybe they'll trade him. Who knows? Depends on
Hmm.
how he
Pool,
plays, but
Pool will probably become, if they start Clay, Pool will become 6 man for sure.
I think
Oh
he's
yeah,
the
he
guy.
Sure,
he definitely is six
Poole,
man.
for sure 6 man.
Mm.
He's coming off
Hmm.
the bench, or they start Clay and they limit minutes, so Pool will be
Yeah,
that 6 man, or they just s- take Clay, start Clay on the bench, and just bring him
yeah,
on and just play him a couple minutes
yeah.
here and there.
yes, sir.
But
but yeah.
does anyone else have anything to mention? Any significant events?
I think we're
Yeah. Go
go,
ahead, my brother. Go
no,
ahead.
no,
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 no, no. By all means, you go ahead.
no,
Go ahead. So
no.
the floor
Go
is
ahead.
yours. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Okay. I thought we were gonna discuss a little debate between two players who had great games
Ooh,
on opening nights.
sir.
Um, Kevin Durant and the Greek Freak. So it's only one game, but right now, who do you think is better? Who's the best player in the league?
Giannis.
Because I think
LeBron.
between those two, no disrespect to
Giannis.
LeBron James, he can definitely be in discussion, but I think it's between Kevin Durant and Giannis. So H2O.
Let's not discount Jokic, bro. But
Okay,
Come on
listen,
now,
listen, listen,
be
listen, listen,
realistic
come
listen,
now.
on,
listen,
Come on now.
listen, 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 listen,
come
listen.
on.
It's not fantasy, bro.
It's not.
Giannis, Giannis. I'm not gonna lie. You guys can attest to this. I thought that his knee was gonna, translate into this season. With the issues he had. He's not even wearing a brace anymore. So he's in great shape, and he is a guy who he is basically Westbrook in a 7 foot body. Be real. He's very active. He's on the go 24/7, and with the added jumpers that I'm seeing lately, it was good while it lasted. Best player in the league, you can't like he's a 2K player that you want to have but can't. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Can't even build in
by
the
all
game.
means, by all means, KD
Yeah,
is very very good. His scoring is you know once in a lifetime you see someone score that effortlessly, and so pure. But Giannis, bro, it's with everything else on top of the scoring. He definitely is the best right now, looking like it.
uh,
into the universe on the line.
yeah.
You say?
Into the universe on the line. You got Giannis.
If we need 2 points, hell yeah.
Two
If we
points.
need three, I got KD. If we need
No,
three, I got
Bet,
KD.
bet.
no. I can
So,
agree with Tykes. I think I'm gonna go Giannis here. As much as good as KD is on offense, I feel like the defense is what separates both of them. I feel like Giannis's hustle on the defensive end and his hustle on the offensive end, it just makes him one of that's why he's one of the greatest. That's why he's the MVP of the league, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like he can score the basketball in the, like it's like he's the one of the most dominant players you've ever seen in the paint since like people think of him like a Shaq, like the way he just gets into the paint and
Mm.
just dunks it. And it's like, bro, holy, well, how can you stop a 7 footer that was bodying you to the ground? That's athletic, that's long, that can do it all. And now, and in that opening game, he has a little mid range. He
yeah,
has
Yeah,
a
maybe
little mid
you got
yeah.
a
range. He has
midi.
a little midi there, and his free throws improved a lot. 7 for 9 from free throw. Like he's showing improvement, right? And but to end off with the question, I just think Giannis is better because it's just the defense that separates both of them for me. It's the
Sure.
defense that
Sure.
separates KD and you know, they're both great on offense, but it's the defense what puts them
That's
over.
literally like the deciding factor, like one of the deciding factors I had. Like, I'm going Greek Freak too. Like, not only is he like one of the best on the offensive side of just like taking it to the hoop, like Shaq did back in the day, but he's literally, either the best or it's like him or Gobert, right? When we're talking about defensive players, like best defensive players in the NBA, like he's up there as one of the best defenders. Can guard 1 through 5, literally, right? And then on the other side, he'll take it to the hoop. He'll dunk on your favorite player, any single player in the NBA. Like, he's disgusting. I think even Shaq at one point I think he said he's better than Shaq. He's like he's better than I was, which is like insane for like Shaq to say, right?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I really like Giannis. Um, and I think he always improves his game, which is something that a lot of players don't do. They kind of just stick to what they know, especially when they're older, like past 26, 27, right? They stick to the game that they know. It seems that he's always improving, right? We saw his free throw improve a little bit, like you said, mid range. You actually have to like step up, which was one of the biggest criticisms of his game was like he has no shot, like you people used to say. But now you actually have to guard him from three. Like he's always a threat. Even he can play make a little bit when he goes to the rim. He can dish out, right? So I definitely think right now Giannis is the better player than KD. I don't think Giannis is the best player in the NBA. I got the GOAT right now, but
We can
it's a
argue
tough
that.
debate. Like,
That.
huh?
Argue that. Go ahead. Like defend the goat. Say why. We can add
He just
We can save that for the next topic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We can say that for later, but for
Before you
now,
guys move on, Nick was saying the differentiating factor between the two is the defense. If you guys watch the game, those elbows are are the difference, bro. The way the way Giannis had elbowed some of them mans
it's
that
like this
game, bro,
bitch.
was
Hmm.
dirty, bro.
Yep.
Dirty. Like I thought a man's jaw was gonna break that game. Like
Honestly,
he used his body. Here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The elbows are sharp. We'll say that.
Um, I'm gonna go with KD. Uh,
Ooh.
cause he, it's so hard because he played better in the first game. Giannis played better. He played harder. But the last time they actually played against each other in meaningful basketball games, I think KD outplayed him in the playoffs in that second round. I think KD was the best player in the series. And KD is not a bad defender. He's a good
He's not.
defender. Not as good as
He's not.
Giannis. Giannis is one of the best in the league. But KD in the playoffs, he can defend. It looks a little different with that first game because Giannis just plays hard. It's in his DNA.
Mhm.
KD didn't go that 110% on defense. But Giannis lacks something is the shooting. KD lacks something less than Giannis with the defense, but I don't think KD is a huge drop off from Giannis defensively. Um, but yeah, if I'm taking one player in the league right now for a 7 game playoff series, I'm taking KD.
But no,
I'm
but
taking
Philip,
KD.
let's say this.
Ooh.
The question was after that first game, who do you think's the best player in this league? So just
I still
don't.
think KD because I think it gets a little
Okay.
because Giannis
Who
plays harder. He played a better game. Does that mean
Mm.
he's
who
better?
who? I have a question for you. Who was guarding Giannis in that game? And
But
and,
no
and
one,
who
no
was
one,
guarding and who
I
was
saw
guarding KD in that game?
I saw Giannis hit a euro on
Okay.
KD. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
saw that.
no,
I've seen
they
that.
both had
He
good
euro
games.
and then left hand. Yeah.
No one
Left
can
hand.
guard Giannis. No one can guard KD.
Mm, I think obviously after his first game, yes, Giannis is better, but I think a 7 game stretch, I feel like
I'm taking KD,
Giannis
bro.
would get the better of KD. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know, man.
Maybe if we go off 7 game, I'm probably gonna take KD. I'll
Um,
probably take
That's what
KD
matters. That's
if
what
it's a
matters.
7 game. Seven
Yeah,
game, I'm taking KD.
Giannis's motor, it does not stop.
You
We've
know the thing
seen
is
that.
though, is you can't lie. Even though I picked Giannis, you can guard Giannis in a sense. Like Raptors did it, right? Miami did it too when they went to the finals. I'm not
yep.
saying he's the same player and it's gonna work every single time because Giannis, he's an all NBA like superstar.
Hmm.
But no, I don't think I've in my life I've ever seen someone hold KD. Does that mean
Never,
he's the
bro.
better player?
Right,
Nah, he's the
right.
better scorer. No one can hold KD like in the
Hmm.
history of the NBA. I think maybe if Bill Russell comes out of retirement, maybe, but bro, I don't see anyone stopping KD on the court.
No,
For
Giannis,
sure.
you can argue you can stop him, but he makes up for what he does on the defensive side. He can still pass as well. He can do other things as well.
it's his presence. Yeah.
So his
Don't sleep on
presence
the
in the game.
playmaking ability either, bro.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
he could throw a pass from across the court so easily because he's so strong and with the
And whip it
accuracy
at
too.
James Harden's
So
face. You know what I
you
mean?
you have, you have to think about it. Even like you said, Giannis could be guarded. It's like you could probably take away the inside bullying, but again, you got the shot. You got the playmaking ability, and you're definitely not gonna get rebounds over him. He's good. He's gonna get his offensive rebounds. He's gonna elbow you in your chest, and
Oh no, for sure.
he's gonna get the better of you.
Yeah, I just wanted to play devil's advocate, like
Yeah.
to Phil's point. Like I get Phil's point
Mm.
in a 7 game series, like KD's unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
KD's more
Giannis.
mature for sure.
You're
He's
not gonna
been there
stop him
before
from dropping
multiple
20
times.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
You guys
Giannis'
gotta
shot.
remember. You have to
Go ahead.
remember, bro. Oh, sorry. You have to remember. KD is 33 years old. Giannis is 26. He's
Yeah.
Mhm.
young. He's
Yeah.
crazy.
young, and
Yeah.
every year Giannis is getting better. He's
That's
not.
the
He's
scary
not
thing.
staying the same. He's getting better. Like to be honest, from your point, I would still think Giannis is a better player, in general, but in a 7 game series, I would pick up KD. Reason being is because KD has more experience. He's a veteran. Like he's been there. Like Giannis has been there, but KD's been there. And we can trust him in terms of the clutch to make the game-winning shot to pull through at the end. Giannis can do that, but proven in the past, you can guard Giannis. You can stop him. Raptors did that with the big bodies of Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. He made a wall. But now Giannis is improving his jump shot, which I think Giannis is a better player because he can shoot. He's not shit. He's not great, but he's good. Like he can still shoot at the end of the day. So that's the differentiate in my opinion. I would still say Giannis is just he improved on his shot more so, and he's better at defense. KD's still a good offensive player, but I just think his defense
If
is better.
if Giannis, I think to say Giannis is like becoming a better shooter, is it already a better shooter is a little bit of overstatement. Yet let's see how the season plays out. If he can shoot above 35% from three, we all know he's gonna shoot them. But
Hmm.
Yeah,
if he can hit it down consistently, and the jumper looks great, the free throw looks great, the routine's different. He
Hmm.
just takes one dribble now and just
Hmm.
shoots it, doesn't even think about it. But if Giannis gets that shot, bro, I'm taking Giannis. Like simple as that. But right
Hmm.
now, in that when it matters most, when basketball matters most, the playoffs in a 7 game series, that shot is gonna become a liability. But again, if the shot looks like if it's gonna look like what it looked like in the first game throughout the whole season, then I think Giannis has the edge. But right now, when basketball matters in the playoffs, I'm taking KD still. It's the regular season, my regular season's regular season, but
Yeah.
I'm taking KD. If they have the same pieces around them, I'm taking KD.
Hmm.
laser beams
Yeah.
pointed at you.
I'm thinking
Dog.
if the game was close, you would have seen KD outplay Giannis, but
That's what matters the most,
it
right?
it it has to get there first. You know what I mean? Like they beat him by 23, like
Mm-hmm.
20
I
piece.
think
You know what I mean? Easy. Like you know what I mean? Like like
yeah.
like
Giannis got the
it,
better team now. Giannis has a better
Let's be real,
personnel.
right? Like
you know what I
the
mean?
last year in the playoffs, right? KD played better, dropped 50, right? But at the end of the day, the
Whoa,
Bucks won the
Giannis
game.
dropped 50. Giannis dropped 50.
Not
Giannis
in that
dropped
series.
50?
Not in that series. In the finals, he did.
The final. My fault. My fault. My
No,
fault.
Straight
you're
50 straight.
slow.
I'm on the Giannis train as you can clearly see.
No, no,
Like
no, no. I'm on your point too. Like
Yeah.
KD dropped a 50 piece, right? Like that's what he's known for. He played. He was the best player on the court as far as the numbers, whatever. But the Bucks came out with the win. I think it just shows like Giannis translates better to wins. I would say like he creates a system and he has a system around him that will translate to wins better, right?
Mm-hmm.
He translates to wins better on the defensive side. He can he can play make. Yeah, but KD's unstoppable on the offensive side scoring, which is why I said he's like easily top three best scorers of all time. That's undoubtable. He's
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
unstoppable. But at the end of the day, Giannis is a better player if I'm trying to win. So that's why I'll say I'll take Giannis.
all right, well, if that's it for everyone, guess we'll end the podcast here.
Sure.
And I want to just
We
get
got another long week of ball to watch. Take that
yeah,
in and
Yeah.
bring it back to y'all.
More
yeah,
basketball. We're excited. First week of NBA.
all right. Like, comment, subscribe. Of course, follow all of us at our socials. You'll see them, and I follow the Five Out podcast as well. And yeah, we are out of here.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. Peace, 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 peace,
Easy,
peace.
easy, easy, easy.